Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Stylosa, and in this video, we're going to take a look at the meta for competitive Season 27 of Overwatch. And also, this applies to quick play and everything else. Watch this video, and you'll have a better understanding of who are the strongest heroes, who are the weaker heroes, and what are the better and stronger comps, and what the pros are doing right now. Because it doesn't really matter too much what the pros do, but what we can learn from the pros is the kind of comps they're using, and it filters down throughout the ranks. So if we know what is a strong comp, let's say, use a really simple example. When dive comp was really strong, all the pros were using dive comp. Well, okay, we want to try and use that in our ladder games, and then there's all of the various different, sort of variations of dive that you could run. Now, disclaimer, big disclaimer at the top of this video. I say this for every tier list video we make. Overwatch is a game where if you are incredibly good at one hero, and in fact, Overwatch is a game which is designed to be like this, where if you're incredibly good at one hero, then you should probably just keep playing that hero. It's going to be super difficult for you to swap to a different hero. Let's say if you're a Symmetra main or one trick, and you're very good at that, it's going to be pretty impossible for you to go, you know what, I'm going to start playing McCree. It's a completely different hero. It's going to be difficult. So as much as I want you to flex, and I do wholeheartedly say yes, flex, yes, play different heroes, reality is, yeah, if you're a super one trick of one hero, you probably should just keep playing that hero, but you never heard that from me. Okay, let's move on. So, this will make us better at the game, and this is why I love Overwatch, because it's such a complicated game. It is beautiful. There's so much going on. So, firstly, I want to start with this. This is the recent patch notes that are on live. So, there's a couple of big ones here. So, Erisa, Fortify no longer allows her to take critical damage. That means when Fortify is active, you can't headshot Erisa. This means she's mega tanky when it's active. Have we seen anything manifest itself on the ladder towards the end of last season? And have we seen anything at the pro level? Kind of. Erisa's stronger than she was. That's the thing to remember here. So if you're an Erisa player, yeah, she's better than she was. So that's kind of okay. But she's still Erisa. She's still immobile. She still has Erisa's issues. But she's still good, though, because she's still got she's still Erisa. So yeah, that change hasn't really had much of an impact. Now, what I'm really worried about here is Reaper. This one is very interesting because this is a buff to Reaper for certain Reaper players, right? Namely ones that can aim. Because if you can't aim as Reaper, this is a little bit of a nerf because you do less damage at point blank range. Because what they've done is reduce the spread from 8 to 6, so it's a more concentrated blast. However, damage per projectile is increased from 7 to 5.5. So that means at point blank, if you're unloading into a target, you're doing less damage than you were before. However, at range, because you've got less spread, it means your pellets are more focused, so you can engage people before you could before. You get what I'm saying? So instead of it being point blank, you've got a little bit of leeway now. So if you're aiming good and you're hitting those targets, you are deleting them from the game. So Reaper, it's a higher level buff, this is. So if you're I'd say if you're above plat, Reaper is actually more effective. If you're below plat, sort of going into gold, yeah, if you can still aim, he's going to be much better. But I don't think there's going to be much of a change at the lower levels. But at plat and above, you might see a bit more Reaper. Winston gets a buff to his armor and health. This is a buff. So basically what they've done is redistributed it around. So instead of 100 and 400, it's now 150 to 350. So he's got 50 more armor. This lets him survive a little bit better against things that kill him. So Winston's gets a bit of a buff. And Wrecking Ball gets a nerf, which nerfed his knockback strength by 25% when he's rolling at you. But again, that doesn't really make much of a difference to Wrecking Ball. Okay, let's get rid of this and let's get stuck into this, the tier list, because the first one I want to kind of go into, this is where I want to, okay, so I'm just going to straight up I'm going to build this comp out, right? And it's going to be like this. It's going to be bang, it's going to be bang, it's going to be... Now, this isn't the comp itself. This is the heroes that can work in this comp. And I'm going to go for Batiste. I'm going to go for May. I'm going to go for Reaper. I'm going to go for Doomfist when I can find him. I'm going to go for Symmetra. I'm going to go for Reinhardt. I'm going to go for... Diva, shockingly. I will explain this in a second. I'm also going to go for this. And you can actually go for... you could... Brig is also a decent shout here for this. Okay. Let me just take a quick drink and I'll explain what the hell is going on. Am I still recording? Yes, I am recording. That's a good sign, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, what the hell is this comp and why is it at the bottom? No, it's not a bottom tier comp. This is a really good comp. Now, if you take, like, let's just delete some of these heroes here, so we do actually have a comp. So let's get rid of Batiste, although Batiste is still incredibly good because of a certain ability which prevents damage, which is really easy to use, and he's got a lot of AoE healing. So let's leave these two as the support. We'll leave Mei, we'll leave Reaper, we'll get rid of Doomfist, because I think he's probably slightly weaker here. We'll leave him. We could, like, Symmetra could be in place of the Reaper, could be in place of the Mei, but I'd probably keep the Mei for this comp. So you can see where this is sort of like a hybridized Rush Brawl comp. You know, Brawl wants to get in there and fight you. It wants to use characters like Mei. It wants to use Reaper. But in the same way, Rush wants to get in there and fight you as well, right? Brawl wants prolonged fights. Rush wants to get in there. They kind of have the same goal. Also, this has been referred to as Rushdown comp as well. So, let's drop Symmetra from this. But again, you could use a totally viable in this comp. We'll drop Brig for the time being. But again, you could use her. And now for the off-tank. This is where it gets really weird. Because you have got Zarya, who obviously traditionally always works well with Reinhardt. That's always been a fact, and that's fine. But also, we're seeing D.Va come into this now. And D.Va is sort of almost coming back into the game. And now I think, well, it's just because of Peel. Like, it's hard for me to break this down. Like, if I bring this in and just show you guys something. So this is from, you guys will be able to sort of see this if I bring it through. Yeah, so this is from the Steel Series. Final game, Boston versus LA Gladiators. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is the comp here. So you've got Muse and Space. They're running Reinhardt D.Va. Now, if we go back to like a Spitfire game, we're probably going to see the same sort of thing again. Yeah, look, Spitfire, Reinhardt D.Va. And you'll notice there's a McCree that's been thrown in here to this comp. But this comp here, like, and they've got a Batiste. It's almost, this is a rush comp with D.Va. It's which is tailored to deal with what the enemy have got here. So they've got the McCree, obviously, to deal with the Echo, you'd say. And also to help with the Winston as well. Really interesting stuff, that is. And I think we'll get more information on that as time moves on. So we could get rid of Zarya here. We could get rid of D.Va and keep Zarya. This is going to work. Now, the point I really want to make here, guys, is this is for us, mere mortals playing the game on ladder, playing it in quick play. We're not going to have the coordination of the pros. We're not going to have any of that, even at the highest levels of Overwatch competitive, which I've been lucky enough to play there sometimes. I don't play there all the time. I definitely don't play there now. I can tell you that for free. I need to put time back in the game to get back up to those levels. But when it comes to competitive, there's so much flexibility in the game. We can even, like, we can look at this comp and go, okay, this team is going to do great. That's what Lucio would say. That's fine if we're just going to run into the enemy team. Yeah. This team would also do great. See where I'm going? This team would also do great. This team would also do great. This team, well, I would prefer to keep Lucio in this just for the speed boost. That's what gives Reinhardt his power. But even so, you could be like, okay, we don't have the Lucio, but we do have the Brig. All right, okay, still kind of okay. We've got mobility from Symmetra. So you see where I'm going with this, with team building. In fact, this probably is actually, this could be a pretty decent video, actually. Well, this video will be awesome, but I've got a new video idea there where we could maybe look at team comps and how to put them together, because it's not always just about going, that's a meta comp, I'm going to put it together, I'm going to build it. So I'm going to erase this now from the bottom, because I think we've gone over that in detail. You'll notice that the main tank hasn't changed in this. You always probably want Reinhardt here, simply because you want to get in there and swing your hammer, because you're a massive wall of HP, you've got a barrier, you can just run straight in, barrier, run, bang, smash. That's why Reinhardt's in that comp. Of course, this has issues where you can't access high ground. So if you were going to use this, let's say on Gibraltar, it might be difficult if the enemy team are using double bubble with like a Winston and a Zarya, just because Winston's controlling the high ground. Maybe they've got some hit scan on the high ground as well that are just farming your team as they walk through, let's say, into the second point where the shuttle is. So again, tons of variables. Again, that's another reason why just solidly adhering to what you think is the meta isn't always the best option in Overwatch. And before we finally get into this, the golden rule of Overwatch is you can only play what is in front of you. You can only play with your team that you've got at that moment in time against what the enemy team have got in that moment in time. You know, think about it. If we've got this team comp, let me just build another team comp up here really quick. So let's just say, ignore this for C optimal. Let's just say this is an enemy team comp for some reason, right? So they've got, let's give them Ball, Doomfist, Mercy. You can't have 3 DPS. What am I doing? Okay, so let's say that's a team comp. What is that team comp? But you could run into that. You could totally run into that on ladder, and it's like, okay, what are we going to do here? Well, this is a really bad pick for them because it's got no protection, so it should be an easy kill for us, right? We should be able to just farm that. even with this team comp, we'd probably be okay against what they've got here. But you could even go like, right, okay, that's their team comp. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drop the Symmetra, and I'm going to bring on the McCree. Because the McCree is going to give me the range to pump damage into this. It's going to deal with this. You see where I'm going with this, right? So always be aware of what is in front of you. Okay, let's move these off. I almost clicked the reset button, but I learned that the hard way. If you click that, it deletes all of these, which is not great. And also, you will notice that there is Symmetra in this video, guys. Symmetra's back. I love it. Right then, let's do this. What are the meta heroes right now? And now this is going to be based off straight up, like, just individual power levels, right? So what hero are you just going to pick straight away? Like, you're a main tank player. Who do you pick? Well, I'm afraid you pick this guy, right? It's been the same for a long time. You can carry like crazy with this tank. Now, and again, I should probably stress what I just said there. This is picks based off what you could insta-lock as soon as you go into the game. And then, sure, you could adapt based on what your team need, maybe, or what the enemy team have got. But these are heroes you can pick and do damage with. Because look, and when I say damage, I mean actually get stuff done, not just straight up damage. Bit of confusing there. Let me take a drink. What is in my tea today? I will say, though, there was no milk in the shop, so I had to get soy milk, and I'm not really a big fan of soy milk. Yeah, anyway, the point I'm making is Reinhardt against this. Yeah, there's problems. There's always been problems here. Well, Sigma has got a barrier. Okay, it's not as good as Reinhardt's, but he can use it to block damage. He can suck damage. He can do damage while he's protecting, blocking damage. Yeah, his ultimate is incredibly good. Reinhardt, he can either block or swing. Yeah. Now, we know Reinhardt's getting changed for Overwatch 2, but the difference there is massive. So if you were going to one-trick Reinhardt, it would be massively difficult unless you were at the highest levels of the game, where you would expect there to be some level of coordination in the team. That's not to say it can't work, because if people listen, if people are in voice comms and you go, guys, let's play rush comp, let's play brawl, let's just run in to the enemy team, come with me. Yeah, that's great. And often in Overwatch, as much as a meme of this is, if you press W and walk forward on your keyboard or forward on your joypad, what is it even called? I don't even know what it's called. Like on this thing, press forward, go! You're going into the fight. That's good. And you'll probably win more games than just standing there. So yeah, Reinhardt is not going to be an S tier pick for tank, but definitely Sigma is. Now, this is, again, where I'm going to throw in, like, I think a lot of the focus here is just going to be on what you can actually play, to sort of almost solo your way out of the game, which is kind of a bad way to approach it. But I think, honestly, it's probably the best way to approach it right now if you don't know what your team are going to do, right? So you pick these heroes, you know that, okay, with Zarya, I can do a lot of damage. I can protect my team from incoming damage really fast. I've got a good ultimate. With Ball, you know that, yeah, sure, I can just do what I like. I can roll around the map. I can smash people's brains out. I can target people. Same with Hog. These would be top tier tank picks, yeah? Then if we looked at the second tier of tank picks, it wouldn't be in strong pick. In fact, you know what? Screw it. Let's do the tier list like this. I like this. This video has been a video of discovery, ladies and gentlemen. So, these guys are going to be great tank picks. Not so good tank picks, I'm going to put these all in the suboptimal category, would be these two guys, because the problem they've got is, and Diva as well, I'm going to put her down here as well. The problem they've got is, number one, they can't really carry. Now, Winston, I'd argue, could, and maybe Diva could as well, but it's much more difficult than it is with these heroes, right? They rely on their team. And where's Reinhardt? I've just totally forgot about him. They rely on their team. If your team are not playing together, you cannot get anything done. And that's another problem with Overwatch. And this is something I hope gets fixed in Overwatch 2, because you can't be in a world where you're so reliant on your team that even if you were playing amazingly well, like, you know what? I honestly believe if you take a top tier player, a Reinhardt player, and you put them into like a plat game, the team, if they're not playing together and not like actually playing a game of Overwatch, you will not win that game. But if you take a top tier Hog, Sigma, Zarya, Ball, you're going to win that game. The impact is massive. And I think that's it. The impact value of these characters is just off the scale. So, yeah, I think we'll leave it. Yeah, I think this is the way I'm going to do this, because I think this makes more sense than just going, oh, yeah, this is great. I think this is good. You guys let me know in the comments below if you think this is good, but I do think this is a much better idea. It's a bit more simplistic, but I think it's just way better, because this is realistically how people play the game. And this is how you will get results on ladder. Okay, so let's move across now and take a look at some strong picks. Now, this is... I think what I'm going to do here is start filtering in... Well, I think what we should look at is supports, really. And we can kind of bounce them around in this. So what I'm going to do is fill this up. So I still think Batiste is a pretty strong pick. Just because he's got Immortality Field, which is really good. Good AoE healing, and he does fit well into like rush comps, slower moving comps as well. And Batiste, again, he can do a lot of stuff, right? You've got that little bit of poke damage at range. You've got ranged healing. You've got a decent ultimate. Well, actually a really good ultimate if you use it well. And you've got Immortality Field, which just denies loads of other enemy ultimates, which is super strong. Your Regenerative Field, another AoE heal. So yeah, he's always going to be a strong pick just because of his kit. Like, I don't think there'll be a time when he's going to be super bad. Same for Ana as well. Pretty much for the same reasons, although it's much more difficult to get that sort of... Like, you can outplay Ana as other heroes, whereas with Batiste, you still don't know if he's going to drop down Immortality Field. So if you are going to hit him with a grav, yeah, he's going to drop Immortality Field. Ana, you hit her with a grab, she's probably going to die. But she could put you to sleep just before you use grab, right? That's a much more higher skill thing to do. So you're going to get more value with the Batiste. But Ana is still really, really good. So I still think Ana is a really strong pick right now. Moira is an interesting one as well. Like, I think she's a strong pick as well. And I also think, like, this is going to look stupid because I'm just putting all the supports in as strong picks. But they kind of are. They really kind of are. Like, I mean, I guess we should probably filter these guys around. So Brig is still really good. Incredibly good. Again, because of the amount of value you get from Brig. And I'm going to put... I kind of want to put Ana in as... But so is Zen, you see. See, this tier is going to be difficult. So I think what I'm going to get myself out of jail here and say a lot of these heroes, so your Ana, your Zen, in fact, all of these heroes, you could put them in the top tier as well. If you were one-tricking one of these heroes, it's totally fine. But guess what? If you've got a Lucio and a Zen as your support line, probably not going to be too good, right? You're not going to have a bunch of healing there. You should probably swap to a main healer in that regard. And the main healer is just categorized as either Moira, Ana, or Batiste, or Mercy. Somebody who can pump out a ton of healing. I think as well, I'm just going to put Mercy in as a strong pick there. I'll put Lucio in a playable tier, just because Lucio, it is comp dependent. All of these other heroes, these supports, you can probably... You know what I'm going to put... I want to put Ana there, but is that fair? I think I'll put Batiste there. Yeah, I think I made the case for Batiste, so I'm going to stick him up there. I think this is pretty fair. But I would still say that Lucio is the weakest support in the game right now, which is... Yeah, like, he's got speed, and speed is really good when the team are playing together. But again, Lucio's going to suffer, whereas if the team are not playing together in a unit, Lucio's not going to have effective healing. Yeah, sure, you could be a Reddit Lucio and go for tons of environmental kills, but on that topic, we always talk about this as well, but I believe Overwatch is in a really strong balance state when we're talking about map-specific metas. I think that's the way, ultimately, the game should go. Anyway, let's move on to the rest of these heroes. So, I'm going to sort of... I think we need to go through Hitscan next, and I think Hitscan is always going to be really strong. So, McCree is a strong pick. You could even say McCree's a meta pick. You know what? Whatever. McCree is a meta pick. Ashe, she's a really strong pick. I'm going to say Soldier. Okay. Oh, Soldier is playable. And I think that's all we can really leave Soldier at. Tracer is really strong as well. Again, you could put Tracer in the top tier here, but I'm going to just leave her a strong pick for now. Just because... Yeah, I'm going to leave Tracer there just because... I feel like with Tracer that you can, like, yeah, so the thing with Tracer is Tracer is a hero with a massive skill ceiling. So if you're really good on Tracer, you can do just incredible things, and you can absolutely, like, destroy the enemy team. Apologies. If you're doing simple stuff. This takes me back to an overanalyzed I made recently, which was showing a platinum Tracer, and this Tracer was just basically going in on the front line of the enemy team over and over again, which is kind of stupid. When the enemy team had a Zen, all she should be doing is going into the back line, taking the Zen duel, which you should win most of the time. You win that, your team should win the fight. Instead, was just face loading into the enemy team and getting destroyed. So, yeah, like, she is, if you're a very good Tracer player, just play her all the time. The only thing she suffers with is aerial damage. So she's not really going to be able to shoot down an Echo or a Farah. You can still do it, but yeah, and we do see Echo quite a bit. She's still pretty strong. So I'm going to say, yeah, she's a strong pick. And the other hit scan we've got is Widow. Now, Widow, again, you know, I'm going to say Widow. Oh, Widow. You know what? This might be controversial, but I'm going to put Widow there. You know why? Just because I think it's so easy to kill Widow. It is so easy to kill Widow now. Probably a lot of people are going to be disagreeing with this because if you've got the raw aim, oh my god, you can do some damage with Widow. Like, you could just destroy people. Again, it's map specific. So if you're on Junkertown first point, you're playing Widow, yeah, you're going to get, like, you've just got massive sight lines. You can destroy people. But here's the thing. You've got Ball, who can just wreck you. And there probably is a Ball on the enemy team. And all that Ball's going to do is come after you and delete you from the game. You can't beat Ball. Like, you literally cannot beat him. If he comes at you and he's got full health and he slams on top of you, you're dead. You're absolutely dead. You can't beat him. Same with if we see Winston. On the field, Winston's going to target you as well. I just feel like she has a very difficult time at the moment, Widow. Which I didn't think I'd really say, because Widow, I would always put her much higher, because if you are cracked out of your mind as a Widow player, you can do a lot of stuff. But I just feel Ashe is just a way better Widow, because Ashe has got defensive options. If Ashe is getting damage boost as well, she's basically as good as a Widow. So, you know, like, you can coach gun away. If a Winston jumps at you, you can coach gun him out of the sky. There's a lot of things you can do there. So, yeah. All right, let's move on to some... should we go for Projectile next? Let's go for Projectile. So, Echo. Yeah, Echo is a very strong pick, and I think Echo always will be a strong pick, so long as she's got incredible burst damage, which is massive. And Echo's movement is great. One of the key things with Echo, if we just put Farah down here in the bad tier, Echo is Projectile, but hybrid hit scan, because she's got a beam. Farah is pure Projectile. However, Farah's movement is trash compared to Echo. Farah needs a Mercy. Without the Mercy, Farah is easy to kill. She won't get any value. She's just sort of floats around in the sky. She's a big, huge target, easy to hit. You look at Echo, smaller hitbox, moves quicker, higher damage output, can consistently beat Farah in one-to-one air duels. Even if you just go straight in and beam Farah, you'll probably just kill her or do enough damage to just require one primary fire shot to kill her. So, yeah, Farah is... Well, she's the worst DPS in the game right now, which makes me kind of sad to say that, but it's been that case for a long, long time. The situation might be slightly different on console, I think, but even so, I want you guys to comment below. But Farah is really, really bad right now, really bad. We'll have to wait and see what Blizzard do with her. But the danger I've got here, well, the fear I've got is we know what Blizzard are doing with tanks and well, every class in Overwatch 2, giving them passive role passives. So we know for tanks they're going to get knockback resistance, no, crowd control resistance, I believe it was. Or was it knockback? It was one of those. But that's going to make them more tanky, right? That means they're not going to be stunned as often as they were. DPS move faster in Overwatch 2, and I forget what... Oh, support self-heal in Overwatch 2 when they don't take damage. But Reinhardt's a good example of this, because Reinhardt, he will have double... Well, this is based on early footage they showed us. It could change. Double fire strike. Okay, that means that he's doing a lot more damage, right? He's got a lot more options. His play is going to be more fluid. Also, he can cancel charge. Again, that means there's a lot more options for Reinhardt there. So what worries me is we don't really see any changes until Overwatch 2, where, you know, let's be real, cancelling charge and double fire strike, they could implement that right now. Workshop moderators, creators could literally make that in 10 seconds. Like, that's not difficult to do. Yeah, so maybe we see that come to the game, who knows? Or we have to wait for Overwatch 2, which we always seem to be doing. It's just waiting for Overwatch bloody 2. All right then, so yeah, I think we've bled into Projectile here, so I think we should probably talk... Oh my god, you know, I don't want to put Hanzo in bad tier. I'm gonna be generous to Hanzo, I think, and put him in not optimal. Like, Hanzo is in a really weird place right now. So Hanzo's always going to have that strong first pick potential. He fires a few arrows, literally YOLOs him down the choke, he kills you. It's like, oh god, I've died to Hanzo, great. But I think it's just a case of... I mean, I think he's just basically outclassed by all the other DPS. That's the problem. Apart from Farah. Like, he's literally better than Farah, and that's kind of it, you know? Oh, it's a difficult one. Like, still, like, Hanzo still has the potential to kill you with a straight headshot, like if you're other DPS. So, like, an Ashe hits you straight in the head from range, you're dead, right? It's going to be super frustrating. But he's not going to have that consistent output that Ashe has got. He doesn't have all the different options. His ultimate's not as good. Even if you use it in combos, so you get Zarya's grab and then you fire Dragon through, that used to be great. But now you just, well, Baptiste throws his lamp down, or you Zen trances, which has always been the answer to that. But Yeah, I don't know. Hanzo, oh, I feel like with Hanzo, Blizzard are a little bit confused with the hero. Do they want him to be close range or medium range spam, or do they want him to be a sniper? They've always classed him as a sniper, but I don't think Hanzo is a sniper. I think he's somebody who can fire arrows that might get a kill randomly at range, and then he can spam a lot of damage out at mid range, and then he sort of goes back to wildly YOLO spamming arrows, and a lot of Hanzo players will miss these arrows. So I really think he does need looking at Hanzo. So I'm just going to put him down at like not optimal. He's not bad. He's not optimal though, but there are definitely better heroes you could be playing. I mean, if you're a projectile player, you've really got no excuse not to be learning Echo, to be honest. So Genji, right? I think Genji's playable. Now, Genji always classically comes down to the type of comp that he's got and what he's playing into. And there are a few golden rules here. Like, I've been getting triggered playing games recently when I've got a Genji and the Genji's playing into a McCree and a Zarya. Please don't do that. And it's even worse if the enemy team have got a brick. That Genji is not going to get anything done. He's just going to get killed by the McCree. He's going to get lasered by the Zarya. In fact, the Zarya is going to be more effective against him than the McCree, unless the McCree can aim. It's going to be a nightmare. So Genji is somebody you can play if the enemy doesn't have McCree, if they don't have Zarya, if they don't have Brig, if they don't have Moira. Go and play Genji. But if they do have those heroes, I'd be worried. And also, if you've got an Ana, then yeah, you've got Nanoblade, which could be a fight win in a lot of scenarios if the enemy doesn't have a Baptiste, doesn't have a Zen. You know, like, so he's a difficult one, Genji. And I think it's really sad because I really enjoy watching Genji. Like, I want to see pros play Genji, right? I'm terrible at Genji myself because I'm much better at, like, hit scan and projectile. Genji, I can never get it into my head. Like, just, yeah, I'm not great with Genji, but I really like watching Genji play. You can see, like, the skill of the hero. But unfortunately, there's so much stuff out there which ruins him. It's just, yeah, he's probably not even playable, Genji, then. He's probably not optimal. No, I'm going to leave Genji there because I do like Genji, so I'll leave him there. Okay, Junkrat. Okay, whatever. Junkrat's not optimal. Works on some max. I mean, I always say that only Junkrat. It works great on Temple of Anubis, let's say, and stuff like that. Yeah, Junkrat's all right. He's okay. I like Junkrat, so that's my reason there. Oh, Torb. Okay. Oh, my God. I still like Torb. I still think Torb is a strong pick, you know. And you know what? Actually, when I was going through Rush Brawl, you could put Torb in this as well in some ways. Because Torb's surprising with his damage. You know what? Whatever, Torb. I'm going to make you playable. That's fine, Torb. You're playable. Doomfist, you're not playable. You're not optimal. Now, Doomfist. Oh, my God. This guy has gone through so many. Like, he's either super powerful. He's either super weak. There's a lot of problems with Doomfist. So, I'm just going to be real with you guys right now. Teams can get torn apart by Doomfist, but the only way that happens is if the team does not shoot the Doomfist. If you turn around and shoot the Doomfist, he's ruined. He's not anywhere near as survivable as he used to be. There's a lot more options out on the field to deal with him now, just because of the way the meta's generally gone, and it's very difficult for him to get things done. You can isolate Doomfist and take him out pretty easily, but Doomfist, he's very feast or famine. He can either just destroy the enemy team, and then the enemy team get tilted, and then they just throw the match. Or he comes in off the top ropes, gets killed. Comes in off the top ropes, gets killed. Yeah, then he triggers his team and they throw the match. So he really is an optimal Doomfist. And it makes me sad because, again, Doomfist has got some, you know, you can make some nice plays with Doomfist. He feels great to play. I'll always argue that Doomfist is pretty much Hanzo level of playing against, where when you die to a random Hanzo arrow, you're just like, what the hell even was that? Or you die to a Doomfist just coming out of nowhere and punching you up the wall. It's like, okay, great. Whereas if Widow kills you, oh, I peaked and I got my brains blown out. You can sort of respect that a little bit. But yeah, Doomfist, I'm going to say is not optimal. But again, if you are playing like a rush comp, you can totally throw Doomfist in there. You know, in these rush down, rush comps, brawl comps, Doomfist is going to work okay. And again, Doomfist always works incredibly well. Final point 2CP, you want to keep that bad boy alive, get your Doomfist out. Or you're on final point hybrid or whatever. Break him out. We're in overtime. We're just going to smash. We're just going to try and get a pick really fast because that's what Doomfist excels at. And Doomfist basically is the quintessential brawl hero. He wants to be involved in a massive fight where there isn't focused fire on him and he can do a lot of work. So, yeah. All right, then. Reaper. Now, this is going to be one that I think I don't really know where to put this one because I think we need more data. So, I would say he's playable generally. Strong pick, I don't know, but could be. He's one to watch out for. He can actually sort of straddle both of these. Will he be top tier solo pick, YOLO meta? Don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think the safe play is to drop him into playable because I think Reaper's going to be pretty good. Yeah. Let's leave Reaper there for now. Sombra. Okay. Sombra is both not optimal and god tier. she is okay. So this is always the argument with Sombra. If you can coordinate EMP with your team, you will win that fight. There's nothing will stop you from winning that fight because EMP goes in, removes shields and barriers, and stops people using their abilities. That means everybody dies. So if you can coordinate that, that's good. If you can't, well, you've got terrible damage and you're just trying to hack people, so you're doing nothing. That's it. She's Feast or Famine as well. Okay, so let's move on to Symmetra. Symmetra's playable. Symmetra is one of these heroes that can really just throw a spanner in the works. You know, if you come up against Symmetra, I don't know, let's just say we're using the teleport onto Hanamura first point attack strat. Super basic, get you on the point. Oh, we're on the point. We've got a brawl comp. Yeah, we win. So she's pretty good for that. Like a random Symmetra thrown in, it is really difficult to deal with a lot. Like I kind of like playing Symmetra on Blizzard World first point defense. There's some nice places where you can place your turrets there, which actually can cause a lot of issue. So yeah, I don't know. Like she's okay, Symmetra. She's playable. I wouldn't like this isn't 2017 or whatever where I'd be like, oh my god, I've got a Symmetra on my team. It's 2021, baby. I was going to say we've gone through a pandemic. We're still in a pandemic. Like, it's fine. I see a Symmetra on my team. I'm like, yo, it's fine. I'll take that. I've also got a Symmetra golden weapon. May as well. May's playable, but I also think May's a strong pick. You know, I think May's a strong pick. May is so good. May is so good. This is a tank hidden in the DPS category. This is like where Roadhog is a tank, or rather a DPS hidden in the tank category. They should swap. May is, May's really good. Again, map specific, right? I always use Command Center as a example of this on Lijiang. Really good. Was it Control Center? That's Command Center, I think, isn't it? Where you can drop the wall down. You know, like they basically come through one choke off the dropship. Really strong. Really strong on certain maps. But if you could just wall people off and destroy them, super strong. The only thing I'd say with May is I wouldn't really use her on maps with a lot of verticality. We did see, I was going to say British Hurricane, but we did see London Spitfire use May on Dorado, and there is quite a bit of verticality there. And they managed to get fairly decent results with her. But again, that's a pro team all playing together. But yeah, I think May, again, this isn't 2017. You see a May on your team, you should be like, okay, nice, we've got a May. That means we've got a character that's really hard to kill, a character that's got a really good ultimate, a character that actually can stop a lot of crap like ball. It can freeze ball, and we hate ball in our back line. May's really good. Do not sniff at May. And Bastion, well, Bastion's just in F tier. Like, Bastion would be in a tier below F tier because he's just... I would like to think that in this day and age, everybody knows how to play around a Bastion. You'll still get those times where Bastion comes out and he's on the payload and it's like, oh no, it's pirate ship, or there's a stupid Bastion Symmetra attack somewhere where you just ported the Bastion onto the point. I don't know. There's always going to be those moments in Overwatch, but he's so one-dimensional. He's so static in a game that he's not about being static. He is silly. He's actually silly, Bastion is, when you look at the design of Overwatch. I don't even know why he's in the game. Everyone else can move. Some heroes got movement abilities, and then you've just got Bastion who just sits there. There's a turret. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to leave it at that. But before I do that, I want to show you this. So this is the tier list we've just come up with for this season. What about the tier list for last season? This is the tier list for last season. Look at that. Have we got any changes here? It looks like we went for... Yeah, it looks like we went for Tracer there. Strong pick Torb. Lucio very weak. I mean, you know what? We could even drop Lucio more on our list. Like this, though, look at that. There's a big change there in Moira. Moira is definitely a strong pick now. Really interesting, that is. It's interesting. Like, this is the thing as well. We always need to realize when we talk about meta and we talk about strong heroes and stuff like that, a lot of it is like what we perceive to be meta, and then actually that can become meta. So if enough people believe that, for example, Moira is a really good hero. You see more content on it. You see more forum posts, Reddit posts. You'll see more people playing on ladder. So your perception gets altered. And then you're like, you know what? I think Moira is a good pick. And then she does become a good pick. So there's always weird stuff like that which happens with Overwatch. But I think this is a pretty solid tier list here based on heroes that you should be looking at playing if you are, you know, a DPS support or a tank. I think it's very clear what heroes are where it's at right now. All right, guys, thank you for watching this video. It is, as ever, my ultimate privilege to make these videos for you guys. Oh, I actually really enjoy these tier list videos. It gives us a good sort of chill environment to sit down and talk about the balance of the game, talk about where we think the game is going, and I think it's just cool content. So let me know if you guys want to see more of this stuff in the future. And yeah, I think I will leave it at that. And as ever, a massive shout out to everybody who is a member of the channel. To become a member, what you do is click the join button below the video, and you get loads of emotes of my face. Actually, I think I can upload a lot more emotes, so I'll get some more emotes of my face put in. You get a little icon next to your name when you comment. I can actually filter your YouTube comments out as well. So I've got a page in the back end of YouTube which just shows me all the members' comments, which is really cool, which means I can reply to you guys. And of course, it means that if and when I start streaming on YouTube, well, you'll already be like a Twitch subscriber in that kind of sense. So yeah, you'll get the emotes and all that good stuff. So yeah, awesome. And also you will get shout out for Overanalyzed, Guess the Rank, and Bronze Heroes, which of course are coming back, guys. I've just had a little bit of a break from those shows because I've just been dealing with some stuff in the real world, so to speak. And yeah, all right, guys, I'm going to leave this video at that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. Toodaloo.